Thank you very much. I think the summary of the match is the story that we can take a look on the stats of the match. Completely control from the first till the last minute from Mamelodi Sundowns. The game played in the way that the team has to grow over these kind of matches, where the team takes the responsibility to pick the ball, to work the ball, to progress the ball, to look for the spaces, allowing us to get a result that allowed us also to change players, to put players out and bring new players to get freshness, to rotate the team. A game in the line of the previous one. It's interesting to see because the previous one changed when we made a mistake that allowed Marumo to score, and this one we also make a mistake that allowed the opponent to score, and that sometimes brings some instability of on the team. I don't want to speak on the penalty because it was just penalty because the referee whistled. Otherwise, there will not be any penalty because there's no foul. So the story of the game is pretty simple. It's Mamelodi Sundowns trying to make as much goals as possible against a team that has a way of playing similar to the ones that we see in the PSL and that try to aggress us on the back of the defense. A team that is absolutely honest, that has players in the front with speed. So any moment we lose the tension, the concentration, we can suffer from this kind of events on the ball on the space, and that's what we try to control. It was important to counter-press as much as possible, control the space on the back of the defense, understand that there would be crosses, a lot of balls from second balls, immediately crosses to control the players on the box, and out of there just make our game, have the ball and the control of the match as much as possible so that we could then build the result. And I think that in the end we could have finished even with more goals scored, what would grow the result. But very good game. I'm very happy with the reaction of the boys, emotionally stable, and some nice things to grow over.
Coach Kakato Mohale from Operai. Coach, are these the type of games that you want your players to be engaged in weekly, where a team also is going at your team as well, and it's almost like it's an open game going pound for pound at each other?
I don't really understand the reach of your question, if because it seems you spoke about me, but then you speak about the opponent and you mix the things.
Okay, no, I'm saying, is this the type of game that you want your team to be playing against these type of teams weekly, in terms of teams that don't sit and wait for you, but they also want to go ahead?
I understood because I hadn't really understood the question. I think that what we saw from Durban City was a team that immediately tried to play balls on the front. So we knew that the moment to counter press would be a very small moment because they would have always intention to play long balls. So, but then it's difficult for them to put numbers in the front because the ball enters and the actions of the opponent are very quick. They try to immediately cross or arrive on the box. Obviously, that this kind of match is pretty difficult to always face because you go up, you try to counter press, and you receive balls in the back. But that's why I said that we need to protect that space in the back very well. And I think today, with the exception of the ball that was the referee gave penalty, we controlled that space. I think even better than in the previous match. So we worked on that. We spoke a lot and discussed a lot about that. And indeed, the team, even at halftime, we reinforced the behaviors that we knew. Because the book that we were reading throughout the match, or the match that we were playing, was the match that we expected to be played. We studied well the team. We passed good information from the players. Look, the players are still growing, most of them. Imagine Mali is growing, pretty happy with the performance that he has been together with Keanu developing. The youngsters are still looking for the spaces in the pitch. Kutluan is still looking for the relations in the pitch. But yeah, we like to compete in general, whatever it is, the teams. I prefer personally to play against teams that also like to play short and build the game. That's more my background from Portugal, to face teams that all of them like to build the game. But in South Africa, it's not like that. The teams mostly play strong, aggressive on the spaces in the back of the defenses, try to counterattack very quickly. What is you go up, but immediately you have to come down. It makes me remind a little bit French football, because in France also they have a lot of speed players in the front, and most of the times they just use them. What is pretty tricky for the defenses, pretty tricky. The body shape is permanently very important to be well positioned, so that the way you relate, because you see, it seems that you are going up to press, but you receive balls in the back, and the moment to counter press is so small that or we are very reactive or we already arrive late. Oh, it's what it is. We need to face the different opponents with the different characteristics, and we have to give answers. That's what is expected from my players. That's what is expected from me, is to prepare them for those moments. And I think that in 90% of the moments of the game, we understood how to control those spaces. But it's never easy. It's pretty difficult to play against teams that immediately and permanently make you run and run and run. And it's very interesting because if you look the stats of the match, then in the end, you look the distances that the center backs have, and pretty high distances because of that, because they go up and immediately. And for us, it's a big effort because we always like to be together. We like to travel together, attack and defense. So it makes us have an extra effort because our players go up to stretch to close the team, to be close to touch. But if we lose, we receive immediately on the space. So you need to run back, and it's a permanent effort to have the team compact because we don't like this kind of open matches here, there, here. That is not the way we. I don't like, and I think that Sundowns is not exactly that how we want to develop our team. We want to have as much as possible the team traveling together on the pitch, high and back. Even if we have to defend, we have to gather and defend together. And when we go, we have to go together, so that then we can have control and connections and passes. But anyway, again, 680 passes. Last match we had also 660 passes. Percentage of ball possession again very high. So I think the team is going on the way that has to go, growing on the way that has to grow. Coming out from the situation emotionally a little bit more difficult, settling down, receiving energy, growing energy, the players finding themselves, connecting again. I think we are going the way we have to go. Still a lot to do, but every match a new story. Let's now recover from this and prepare for the next one.
Coach, I'm from Sokola. You have your players going for the under 20 World Cup. Don Bena. Does this in any way affect your team, your plans, how you play? And secondly, Awaz, it's been a few weeks now, I've been at Sundowns, hasn't had too many opportunities. How is he adapting to life at Sundowns?
Look, first of all, regarding the national team players, we have also Tatu CB and Tiwani. And we are absolutely excited about the fact that they go on the World Cup. So for us, it's a pleasure to give players, even that are playing for 11 on the squad, and not be selfish on this and give the players for the country. And we think that this experience will bring the players back in a higher level, and that's why they go with pleasure. So for us, it's a big pleasure. For me as a coach, it's a fantastic opportunity to see the boys in the highest level. Of course, here playing in Sundowns, they also play on the highest level, but I could not be selfish, and discussion that we had together with Mr. Fleming regarding the development of our players, and with the board of the club, we decided, no, these boys, they have to go. They have to go. And we believe that when they will come, they will be better players, for sure. So that's our expectation. If we're going to suffer by not having them, of course, in the moment, Mabena and Kutuano played today. Ben played in Tiski today, but he's working with us. We are absolutely excited about the way we see the boy in the future. And of course, that maybe we're going to miss them. But the question is not if we're going to miss them, is if the other ones will raise on the level so that we don't miss them. That is what is important to happen. And of course, the market is still open. We believe that the team will also be reinforced. As I said, we are seriously and together us coaches, the sports direction, and the board of the club, so that we can eventually reinforce the team, and so that we don't feel so much the loss of the boys. But with pleasure, we give players always for national teams, with big pleasure. Fawaz. Look, Fawaz has no problems. The problems of Fawaz are the same problems that has Divine Lunga and Obre Modiba and Tatu Sibia and Tiwani, and that also made us give on loan Terence Machego. Is the quality that we have on that position. And despite we believe a lot in Fawaz, as well we believe in Obre, as well we believe in Divine, and Fawaz will have his moments. Today he was on the bench, he could have played. He just didn't play because I had to decide which players were probably the best ones to take out, not to manage this game, but to think about next ones. And if I had one or two more substitutions, for sure he had gone in like Maseko, not only to manage the other ones, but because we trust them. So there will be moments for Fawaz to appear. We are happy with his work. Of course, that we always demand more. He's adapting to what we want. Also, we don't train a lot, what doesn't give him a lot of opportunities to show himself permanently. It's also a problem that comes from the calendar because we train so much. Look, we came from Bloemfontein. We arrived in the day after at 2 o'clock. We trained. Indeed, we made 3 times 10 minutes game 10-10 in a very high intense rhythm. We saw the boys, and today or yesterday we already went in the hotel. So we just prepared tactically small things regarding this match. The opportunities for the player to show himself are not very big. So it's also not, but there will be a moment that things will happen. Let's hope it doesn't happen because another one gets injured. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But naturally, he'll have his opportunities like the other ones. So there's no just normal. I could state other names that are not playing in the moment that could be in similar situation. It's pretty difficult. Sometimes it's difficult because you are so close. You can be a first 11 and immediately not play. But we are providing rotation in the team. And 2 matches ago, for example, Musa played. Then we substitute. You put in Motobi. Motobi played last one. This one he's not on the bench. Because we need also to Motiva the same. He played last matches. He entered. Now he was not on the bench. It's also management. We need to have everybody believing, creating trust. I think I spoke already many times about trust. Creating trust between a coach and the players is giving them opportunities that are real opportunities, not really telling, no, we believe on you. Yeah, but when you give me one opportunity. So, no, we trust, we rotate, we believe in everybody. What they need to do is enter the pitch and give answers so that we continue to trust.
Coach, in the first half, I saw a lot of control and dominance and not done a little bit at the beginning of the second half. But generally, as you said, you guys don't know the match. Is that how ideally you want to see this team play going forward, where they can dominate matches and show superiority in what you do stuff? Because I think that's what mainly the Sundowns fans have been calling for. That in the past you got results, but there was not that much of dominance. And then also on another issue,
When there was not so much dominance.
what I'm saying, that's what the fans are saying, that maybe in the previous matches, though there were results, but Sundowns was not that dominant. And then on the second bite, I thought Salas was immense today in a more playmaking role. Is that where we must maybe likely see more of him in that position going forward?
Look, I think sometimes people speak too much because of the expectations that they have, and not because they really relate with the reality. And it's important that people really relate with the reality. And the reality is numbers. And I invite everybody to go check the numbers of the team and check the numbers of the team since we arrived here, and check how many times, if there was any time that anyone was dominant over Mamelodi Sundowns in terms of capacity to create, capacity to control the game with the ball, capacity to have passes. Look, this team last year made the fans probably feel as pleased as they had never been. We broke all records. Just we didn't break the record of goals conceded by one goal. We broke all records. After 10 years, we took the team on the club on the final of the Champions League. The team went on the Club World Cup, and probably South Africa saw the best football ever on the history of the country. And the fans are still not happy. It's because they are very demanding, and we will work hard to try to please them as much as possible. But the fans also need to understand the moments that the team live, and every moment is different from another one. And we passed for sure. I think we are moving forward, but we passed difficult moments that have to do with a lot of instability that happened in the team. And because we are in a very strong club, with a very strong commitment between the people that is inside the club, we are moving forward. And we're going to move forward and succeed. Because other club, other structure would have open breaches that probably would be ever overcome. And I think we are moving forward in the right way. Look, I last match, the team had 88% of pass accuracy, 72% of all possession, 621 passes. This match, we had even better stats. We have 79% of ball possession, 89% of pass accuracy. We have 11 shots on target out of 18. There's no, and just go back and see. Today, in the end of the match, the team was handling the ball over a very low block. And sometimes the team brought the ball back to create spaces to then move forward again. And I heard a couple of whistles on the stands. But people need to understand that the ball is not always in the front. Sometimes it's back to go front, and on the right to go inside, and on the left to go inside. And sometimes you need to push the opponents back so that we move forward, because that is what Sundowns is used to do, to use the support of the players in order to manage the ball, to create spaces, and then overcome the difficulties that the opponents create. And that's how we want to build a team that makes the fans proud. And we're going to do it. But we need to make that process. This is not a spontaneous generation. It's hard work from everybody. And the fans should support the players all time. And we know that they are willing to do it. And together with them, with the effort that we do and the effort of the players and the structure of the club and the team will move forward. Just we need to be committed with that objective all together, so that there's no instability, because we have already our opponents that fight against us. We don't need to, between these kind of elements, we don't need to create this stuff. We just need to move forward. And I feel very privileged on the fans that we have. I feel every day on the streets around Johannesburg and Pretoria a lot of love from people. And I think that also there are some occult interests to create around Mamelodi Sundowns something that doesn't exist. We are well and recommended, and we're going to continue to produce good football, win matches, make results, and develop players. That is what we are trying to do. Salas is a player. It's so important also to understand that players also have fluctuations. Salis and all the players in the front, like Tashrik, like Ikram, like Peter, like now Mabena that appears and Kutuluano, they were all used to play with an extraordinary player that passed in South Africa that was called Lucas Ribeiro. And everything that he produced, the connections, they are gone. And we don't relate with that. For us, it's forget, it's done. And we are rebuilding relations between the players. And it's like when you have a woman or a girlfriend and suddenly your relation terminates and you're going to meet after some time, you meet another person. You also need to develop relations. Nothing will be the same. You will not go on the same restaurants and ask for the same food and touch yourselves the same way and speak the same way and listen to the same music and go to the same cinemas, and everything will be different. But you need to create that relation. That's what we are doing. We are creating relations. And to create relations that are progressive, that allows us to develop the team, we need support and support and support and support. and that's the job I'm doing. And today I spoke with the players about a very very interesting story. It's called comes from psychology. It's called the wild horse effect. And we discussed this. The wild horse effect is a very simple story about the horses in the African savannah that are beaten by the bats, and they get frantic and they start to run all over, run and run and run and run, because in their heads they were beaten severely. So they are afraid that they will die because of the bite of the bats. But the fact is that the bite of the bat takes him a little bit of blood that from an animal so big will never harm him. But the reaction of the animal is completely out of the proportion of what really happened to him. And sometimes we also react not according to the reality. And it's important that we react according to the reality, because 10% of what happens to us has to do with the reality. 90%, 10% is just imagination. And we don't want to relate with imaginary things. We need to relate with what is happening. And inside, we know very well where we are going. And we need to be committed. So that is how we see life. Much more, yeah, the bats will try to bite us. Normal football, there are opponents, and there's pressure, and there's results we need to produce. But how are we going to react to that? Are we going to be stable? Are we going to keep the way we need to go? Or are we going to relate with a small bite and think it's much bigger than it is and just get frantic and start running everywhere and worried and create a big thing out of nothing? I will not allow that to happen in the locker room. I will protect the team. I will myself protect the club as much as possible. And together with the people responsible, we will continue to move forward. That's the only way we have to.
Okay, the last question, I'm not sure if it was Harris. Coach, your next opponent is away, another game in a short period of time. Would you say that you've got pressure, even as a club and a team, to continuously always win and to be on top of the log?
Look, we have, of course, we have to feel that pressure, but that is normal for us. We know what we do. We know where we are. We know which badge we represent. And look, it seems that today I made 50 games ahead of this team. 50 games ahead of this team. And since day one that I arrived here, that was the day that with most pressure. You remember which was my first match here. You remember Raja Casablanca for Champions League. If we don't win that match, we were out of the Champions League, as you know. Or if we lose that match. And immediately we went to play Stellenbosch. And immediately we played Amazulu away. So pressure on this club is from day one until day whatever it will be. So what we need to do is to be stable, to leave the pressure, let the pressure stay away. I don't read blogs. I don't listen to people, third parts. I erase all messages in my phone. Why? Because I need to keep stability in my thoughts. And my thoughts, they come from what me, together with my coaches and the sports direction of the club, we decide that is important. So that we know where to go. Because if we start to be able to receive feedbacks and we're gonna, no, I don't allow myself to enter those kind of. My capacity to deal with the pressure comes from two or three things. First of all, from the fact that I know my family is there, and whatever happens to me, they love me anyway. So results are much more important for me to love myself more than rather for the ones I love to love me more. So I know they are there. Thank God, in this moment of my life, with the age that I have, I look younger, but I'm 53. Also, I have stability that allows me to know that my family, whatever happens to me, will be okay. So I have financial stability for that. And there's one much more important thing than the other ones is that I found myself also in a place of peace that comes from the club, from the support I have from the people, from the love we have in the locker room, from the daily relations that we have, and that together with the other things make me go and live day by day in peace. Of course, pressure. Coach of Orlando Pirates has pressure. Coach of Kaiser Chiefs has pressure. Coach of the team in the last position in the table that I don't know who it is. has much bigger or the same pressure as myself. It's our job. But look, the guys in the mines, a lot of pressure. The guys that I see in the morning on the traffic lights, to whom I give most of the day's things, they have pressure. They don't know what they will bring home to give to the kids. And even yourselves, if you don't make a good job, your boss, when you arrive, probably also complain. So pressure comes on a daily basis. How we relate with the pressure is the most important thing. Is how we relate with it, and if we become stronger under pressure or if we become smaller. I don't become smaller under pressure because I know that football will have good moments, bad moments, and keeping stability will allow you to also live in peace, because we also need to live in peace because we work so much, so many hours, that if I allow myself not at least to sleep in peace, this job can be dramatic. And I try to let that dramatism, that drama, stay out of my life so that I can also perform, because I also need to perform for my players, to know what I'm going to tell them today, what I'm going to tell them tomorrow, what I'm going to tell them, what kind of, to relate with the things properly, not to let myself emotionally stay unstable so that then my reactions are not proper. My thoughts are negative, my behaviors will not be good. No, no way, no way. I need to speak with the referees in a proper way. If I let myself be touched by the pressure, I will start being a bad person. And I don't want to be. I want to be always respectful, respectful coach for my players, for the referees, for my board, for my communication manager, to the people that is around me, and ultimately to my family that needs and deserves all my respect.
Thank you for the wisdom.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
For the relationship advice. I hope